Hey friends, I just got done midnight shift, so I'm a bit tired. Um, I made a video yesterday talking about overcoming ill will and anger, and I just wanted to follow up on that. And I really think that our lives are being manipulated by social media, by our friends, sometimes our family. Um, and it's so easy to think negatively. It's so easy to have ill will towards others. And what I really think we're doing when we have ill will towards others and we talk badly about others is we're cursing them, and we're sending out an energy field radiating out towards that person and creating energy cords. Uh, anytime you think about somebody negatively, uh, um, you're creating an energy cord, a connection with them, and feeding negativity, and taking negativity. Because what happens is, um, our thoughts are not necessarily just our own, and you can pick up thoughts from other people. Um, and so when we create these negative spiritual cords, energetic cords with people, we're creating a feedback loop. So basically, and I really think that everything you send out is going to come back amplified towards you. This is kind of like the principle of karma and cause and effect. So I don't know what the principle would be. Do unto others as you'd have done to you. Judge not lest ye be judged. But um, I really think it's important to say, hey, if we want to be mature human beings, kind human beings, like we got to really work on this and like try to abstain. It's hard to do, but abstain from complaining, abstain from you know like it's okay to talk about something you're experiencing, but to go to as far as to say I hate this person, or um, they're a whatever. uh, that's going too far. That's making it personal. That's taking it out of the present moment of what your experience was. They talk about, like, in therapy, couples therapy, stuff like that. They say use I statements, instead of they, you, whatever, and say, this is how I felt. And so you can explain the situation and you say, this is how it made me feel, instead of just, because then you get down to it, and ideally you talk to that person and tell them how this made you feel. And if there's an issue, you try to resolve it with that person. Say, this, I seem to be having a bit of trouble with you, and I don't really like the way this is what's going on, and I want to find out what your intentions are, and just don't just assume what the other person's intentions are. Like, really communicate. It's hard, like I really feel like, communication should be taught. We should all be taught that in school. I think we're just left to our own devices, and a lot of times we learn how to communicate, how to treat others from our parents. And so if one or both of our parents have dysfunctional communication patterns, or anger-based communication patterns, we can pick those up, or victim-based communication patterns, we pick those up, and then that becomes our way of thinking and our internal voice, and then we kind of end up projecting that onto society, and unfortunately, sometimes that's on people that we are close with, whether that's in a relationship or work, or friends. It's like the people we're closest with are the people we tend to project our personal wounds and thoughts onto. And the truth is, most, if not all, of our thoughts are unconscious. They're just arising. They're due to feelings and interactions with society, with our own thoughts, with others, what other people have said to us, or our perceptions about situations, our perceptions about other people. And so they're conditioned, and they're just arising due to previous causes and conditions. So we don't need to always react to our thoughts and feelings. We can observe them. It's not easy to do. It takes practice. I'm not very good at it. Something I need to work on, is just observing without taking things personally, and allowing a feeling. Because what happens is you have a negative experience or a negative thought, or somebody causes a problem for you, and you feel a negative feeling inside, in your body, and sometimes in your mind, and that manifests as a thought, as a negative thought, a fearful thought, an angry thought. But in the end of the day, all that's happening is there's some sort of worldly contact or a mental internal contact. Our own thoughts can be impetus for our own feelings and more thoughts. So the idea is, hey, our thoughts are just arising. So we have to be careful, with you call it kind of like thought loops, allowing them to continue and go and go and go and go, and create stories and create beliefs about certain things. And I mean, the studies on memory have shown that our memories are typically self-serving. They morph and change every time we recall something. It changes and becomes a little bit more and more self-serving. So it's really difficult to trust even your own memories. But I think ultimately, what I'm getting at is, no matter what is happening in life, I saw a video once, and it was a military lieutenant or colonel or something, and he said, "There's nothing in life you can't completely fuck up. There's nothing in life you can't make worse." And so that's a really important thing to remember is, what am I doing with my life? What am I doing with my thoughts? What am I doing with my words and my deeds? But, most people won't, do something really egregious with their deeds, with their physical body, but they'll do a lot of egregious things with their words and thoughts. And so, basically it starts with your thinking, ends up with words, and then deeds are the most gross manifestation of negativity or positivity. So it's ideal, and if we want to be good people, it's not that you're bad for having negative thoughts, but we don't have to keep them going. We don't have to expand on them, make them worse, and just deal with life as it arises, and deal with situations. If there's problems, then deal with them. And I don't think it's a good idea to go around cursing people with our words and thoughts. It's simple stuff that we forget. Our parents, ideally they would have taught us, don't talk badly about others, don't judge others, always be kind, like all these kind of things. You have to stand up for yourself, but be kind about it. And if we didn't have an upbringing where one or both of our parents taught us, good things, we have the ability to learn. We have the ability to grow, and that's what I think real maturity is really realizing, hey, like, listen, how do I want to be in my life? How do I actually want to you can't control people's perceptions of you, but how do I want to be? Your own integrity is worth something, and I think it's worth the most important thing in your life is your integrity, and it's not that it will ever be perfect, but we can try to be a little bit better. We can try to, you know, spread out a little more positivity than negativity. So, be a little mindful. Be aware of how we're using our thoughts and words. Am I actually being a good person? Like, we all think we're good, but you know, is what I'm doing with my thinking and with my words, is that contributing positivity, to life? Is it actually contributing something good to life? Um, there's a certain amount of, we can vent about our situations, but, you know, uh, if you go too far, it just ends up cursing people. I had this problem with this person, and they said this, and I don't know what to do about it. Find solutions. I really think it's important that we um, try to become solution oriented in life instead of problem oriented, instead of focusing on problems, instead of trying to make more problems, or amplifying problems, or keeping problems uh, in the present. So your thinking and your words are a form of energy, and it's important to decide, what kind of energy do I want to share with the world, and ultimately know that, on some foundational level, um, whether you want to believe that, you have a soul, or you're part of a source energy. Um, Ultimately, in one way or another, we all go back to the same place. We all, they say we're all stardust. We come from stardust, and we go back to stardust. Christians might believe that we were created by God, and then we go to heaven or hell. And I mean, definitely from the Christian point of view, I mean, just follow the Bible. Really listen to your Bible, and what does it tell you to do? Judge not, lest you be judged. Do unto others as you'd have done unto you. Have integrity. Love. God is love. Love is God. If you want to be one with God, you should be loving. You should really practice being loving. And for people that are not Christian, or it's just basic common sense. Whatever you want to have in your world, you should probably give that. If you want to have happiness, then you should try to help people be happier, and certainly don't contribute to them being unhappy. So just wanted to share that, and it's all about mindfulness. Loving kindness is something the Buddha taught. Is one of calls it the godlike abodes, or sublime abodes, and this is one of the things that we can cultivate unlimited. There's no limit to it. It's totally healthy to cultivate loving kindness towards all beings completely, so it erases ill will from our minds and hearts, and we try to make the world a better place. You're not going to be perfect. I'm not going to be perfect, but we have to try our best to actually do and be good. Take care.